Good morning. I am out here on the 1 Acre Vegan Farm. Today is a turning point. I can see my breath in the air. Yesterday it was actually really hot, almost unbearably. I was trying to wear a long sleeve and I really couldn't. I think it got up to 80, but that should be the last hot day of the year. It's nice to get crops like you'll see in the background established, things like brassicas, kale, collards, Chinese cabbages, which I'm growing a lot of, but it is tough to grow things like salad greens, spinach, and lettuce. So we've got new transplants in the ground that are established now that should be enjoying this cooler weather. You may be able to notice that I've got a quick hoop ready to go with 1/2-inch EMT. I wanted to set one up because I see a lot of people using them and I wanted to see how difficult it was. Well, I didn't put the plastic on because it was so hot yesterday and it was super windy. We had 60-mile-an-hour winds, which was insane. But it took 12 minutes to put a 50-foot quick hoop up. Again, didn't get the greenhouse plastic over it yet, but I will. So I'm really excited about that. A lot happening in the garden. Again, we've gone to a mulching style system. We're using cardboard and composted mulch from the landfill that I can get that's just shredded leaves, twigs, and branches that's been composted there. So really happy with that, and the crops seem to be doing really good. A few things going on. I think I'll take you around and show you around. I've got to harvest some greens. We're headed to Dr. Miller's midwife today to do a checkup, and I wanted to bring some greens with me. So let's go along, pick some greens, and show you the garden. The first thing that I'm going to be picking is this Bok Choy. Now, I had never grown Bok Choy before, but let me tell you, I'll be growing it again. It is phenomenal. I'm really happy about the growth. It grows so quickly and readily, and the taste is amazing. You can shred it up and have it raw, but you can also come through. I pick the leaves just at the base like you would a kale and wash them off, of course, and then go ahead and saute them up in a stir fry, or I'll just throw a big old pot full in my Instant Pot with some vegetable broth, cook that for 30 minutes, and it's ready to roll. But these leaves are tender. Even as they get larger, they're tender, but I'll normally come through and just harvest a good bit of them. Now, this Premier Kale that I'm standing right next to is a very prolific crop, one that I grew this past spring with really great results. It just wants to grow. Now, I will say, once the heat kind of took over, and here the heat really gets pretty going in April, late April, it did not flourish. Once the heat came, it was ready to stop growing and it kind of died off on me. But cooler months, this stuff goes crazy. Now, this is a breed of brassica that's kind of a mixture between a collard and kale. Now, speaking of crops that some of the pests enjoy, some of the other critters enjoy, this red Russian kale, this is the first time I've grown it like this. I've grown it as a baby green before, which you would normally harvest of leaves about this size, really tender, really sweet, an awesome crop. But I've been growing it larger leaved because it's so sweet. It's amazing how much there's not much bitterness with it. It's an amazing crop. It is prolific, and I've been really happy with it. And apparently it's really hardy as well, so that's another plus to it. The only problem is we had this groundhog, and I'd be sitting in my office, which looks out to the garden, and I would look out here and I would see that groundhog come jumping through the neighbor's yard, kind of cross my yard, and then I would see it come to the garden, hop over 4 or 5 beds, go hundreds of feet to get to this red Russian kale. So it's got to be good. It's got to be tasty. It's just I haven't been able to eat too much of it, but now that I've kind of mitigated the problem, it's getting a little colder. Hopefully he's going in for hibernation, or she's going in for hibernation. We will get some more red Russian kale. Also, I'm going to be putting a fence up here because I did have some deer issues, but I'm going to build a low fence with some high wires to keep the deer and the smaller mammals out. So the red Russian kale, prolific, tasty, sweet, delicious, amazing. I wanted to take a minute and show you a new bed that I have planted out. This one's not planted out yet. That will be winterized potatoes and onions, but now nothing yet. Now that the cool weather, it will be soon. But in this bed, I've got spinach, which you can see just popping up there. And then we've got some white lady turnips, which I'm really excited to grow. And those have come up very strong. Those are about a 21 day, now it's cooling down a little bit, probably 28-day crop. We've got some Easter egg radishes. And then another type of turnip, but I couldn't tell you because I completely forgot. But they've been growing, coming up nicely, all from seed. If you know me, you know I do a lot from transplants, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to do so many transplants, and I just like to get going with doing some more direct seeding. Now that I'm using the deep mulch system, I'm using the compost, I'm not having to worry about weeds as much, or really about many weeds at all, especially adding that new layer and even using cardboard when needed. So I can do a lot more direct seeding. I'm starting to do a lot more direct seeding, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. In front of me here, you'll see right there we've got Napa Cabbage, which, jump up here, is getting really big. I'm worried that it might have been a little too warm for it because, well, it's starting to head up tightly there. I've got a couple that are really getting nice and tight and a few that worry that they might go to seed before heading, but hey, we'll saute that up, no problem. But behind me, we have this Swiss chard, and I don't know if I haven't really talked about it much, but Swiss chard has been my nemesis. I know a lot of people enjoy growing it and say that it's one of the easiest greens you can grow. It's one of the most pest resistant and hardy greens you can grow, but I just wasn't able to grow it. I would maybe get it to about this size, and that would be it. But this year, it was different. I'm getting some really nice sized chard, and it's grown really well. I'm guessing the system, the deep mulch, the composted mulch is a great media for it, and yeah, it's turned out really nicely. I'm excited. I've been coming out here and just eating it raw, but I'm excited to saute some up and make a few recipes with it, especially some tofu scrambles. Chard goes great in that. But yeah, the chard is going good. The last couple of greens, I'll pop down here, that I have growing are my kale, my curly kale from Saved Seed, and my collards from Saved Seed. Same stories. They came up really well, great germination, but that pesky groundhog has just been gnawing on them. That's why I got this quick hoop over here so I can get them covered up quickly. I wanted to get them covered up before anything else to keep them growing nicely. But yeah, the plants have all stayed okay, and my only consolidation in it all is to say that maybe the plants took the heavy pruning as, hey, we need to put a lot of energy into roots, so a guy can dream, huh? But yeah, the kale and collards, just not much production. Let me grab a... I mean, some people would harvest collards this big. I'm more going after the ones that are the size of my head, so I like them a little bigger, and I like a lot more. But man, that groundhog is fattened up on these guys. I mean, it's amazing to think that of all the plants in here, the ones that groundhog is going after the most heavily, yeah, the red Russian kale, but even more so is my Saved Seed. So hopefully that says I saved some good seed, and it's going to be a beneficial crop for many years to come. That's something I didn't really mention earlier in the video, but that is my goal. In all these beds, I'm planning on saving seed from the best plants, because I've just realized that, hey, my system is unique. Everybody's system is unique, and it's crazy to go out and buy new seed that's been bred and grown, thousands of miles away, potentially in other countries, across the seas. and expect it to do good in your system. So I'm saving seed. It's not hard. I'll be keeping you all along with me along the ride, but yeah. So the kale, the collards will be bouncing back, especially with this cooler weather. Now that I can put this quick coop over them, get that greenhouse plastic over there, they should do really good. The composted mulch really holds moisture well, so I shouldn't have a problem with watering. And if you can hear that in the background, I've got my drip going right now. So yeah, that is it for today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I am Plant-Based Gabriel. Hopefully seeing you another time very soon. Remember, Plant-Based Diet for Beginners book is now on Amazon. You've got links there, and I'm really excited about the book. I hope everybody gets the chance to read it, and it can really make a big difference in your lives. So until next time, if you haven't heard it already, I love you. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I've got some more greens to pick.